What is going on, YouTube? Figured I would give you a quick update on progress of various projects here on the channel, namely this guy. Not made a ton of progress here in recent days. Sure you saw the spring hanger video. Getting ready to make a little progress in here. I've got the old column pulled out. It had a half-ton column in it with the airbag steering wheel in it. It's kind of odd, but somebody must have liked that style or trashed the bearings in one and pulled one out of an F-150 as a replacement. But I've got the manual pedal box to go in here shortly. That'll probably be one of the next things, and then I want to pull this interior out. I think I'm just going to take this carpet out and pressure wash the snot out of it. Try to get it as clean as we can here while I've still got some dry weather, and I'm reasonably sure that it'll dry out. No engine in it yet. Trans and transfer case are still laying on the ground here beside it, but it's on its own legs. And we've made a notable piece of progress here in the last couple of days. Look at that. We've got a bumper on the front. I found this bumper from a guy locally here who was parting out a truck, so we struck up a deal on the bumper. It's starting to look like a truck. Pay no attention to that part back there. If you just look at it from there forward, it's starting to look pretty good. But we'll get this part squared away soon enough. I was going to swap some shocks onto this thing, and doggone if the ones that I got aren't just a little bit too short. They said that they would work for an F350 4x4, so I'm not sure what the difference is, unless this thing just needs to droop a little bit when we put a bed on it. So I pulled the old crusty Bilsteins off of there. Is it Bilstein or Bilstein? I don't know. I've always said Bilstein. But we've got some shocks on the front. Got that much put together. Got her on her own legs here. Got wheels and tires on it. Can move it around here if we need to. So I think the next order of business is going to be the interior. Probably go ahead and honestly, I'm probably just going to pull all the seats clear out of it. Take the trims loose. Drag that carpet out. And we'll pressure wash it up. We've got to get it out anyway so that we can change the floor hump there and get our hole in there for the stick. I'm going to put the man pedal in. Guess we can take this guy out. That's our auto shift cable. And take this stuff out as well. I'll probably pull this gauge cluster apart and either swap in a manual cluster and then swap that piece-om onto the back of it, or I may just put the little blank in there over top of the shift indicator. Try to make it look right. Take this cable out. So we've got some work to do in here. It smells like a dusty old truck. Try to get this thing cleaned up a little bit. If anybody out there was watching and you've got the elusive switch bezel for the crew cab, hit me up in the comments here. I don't expect you to donate it. I'll pay you something for it. But having a hard time finding one of these. I may end up either making one, or I've thought about trying to have somebody 3D print some. We'll see. My little brother's also got a CNC router. Figured we could make one out of a piece of micarta. That'd look pretty cool. We'll see what we come up with here. But get that column swapped into place once we get the pedals in. And man, I tell you what, we'll be get this interior straightened out. We'll be about ready to swing an engine. Swing an engine into this thing. We'll really be on the downhill side. So that's a progress update on the Frankenstroke. Haven't made a ton of progress there in the last few days. I've undercoated probably, I don't know, 9 or 10 vehicles in the last week and a half. And then I got into a little project here. You know, I was undercoating these vehicles, and this old Craftsman, it's just kind of on its last legs. You can see it's leaking some oil. It's got a hole in the bottom of the tank. It's just about wore out. It was time for something a little bit bigger. So I was fortunate enough to run across this guy who has been a project, but it's an 80-gallon tank, and it's supposed to make about 20 plus CFM at 90 pounds. So this has been a project too. I had to get a motor to put on it. It didn't have one when I got it. I had to replace the check valve. Still got to put a motor starter on it. Get it all wired up here. Try to get this thing running and plumbed in here so that we can get back to work on truck projects. And then I got into a half-ton project. This is Dad's truck. It's an 03 F-150. Started puking power steering fluid everywhere. Blew the bottom seal out of the steering gear. Ended up needing a steering gear. It was all sloppy and worn out. So I had to put a steering gearbox in that. And then I've been fiddling with the four-wheel drive system. It's got the manual shift on the fly, floor shifter in this one. It's an XL truck. And it's not working right. Tell you what, information on these things is not as easy to come by as it should be. All I needed was a wiring diagram to do the troubleshooting, and doggone if I could find one. But I think we've narrowed it down to a $20 4x4 switch on the back of the transfer case. I shift it in manually, and there's a little switch that tells the rest of the truck that the transfer case is in four-wheel drive, which activates the little air solenoids to lock in the front end. And that switch has failed. So he's supposed to have one here this afternoon. Try to get that back to him. He's been driving toothless for the last few days while I was fiddling with his truck. So progress has been a little slow and hard to come by. Sorry about the wind there. Been a little hard to come by the last few days. And then we've got leaves to deal with and some yard work. We had a big storm blow through here. You can probably see there's still sticks everywhere. Gotta get all that straightened up and cleaned up this weekend here, hopefully. And then we'll be on the downhill side of the hill here, headed towards Thanksgiving. So not a ton to go over here today. No how-to video for you. Just a quick update. But I thought we would let you know that I haven't just been sleeping. I've not just been playing video games. There's a lot going on. So what are you working on these days? Post up in the comments down below what you're working on. Let us know what you're up to. Otherwise, we're going to get back to work here, and hopefully we'll have some more progress to report here soon. Thanks for watching.